What is up, everybody? Welcome to another Tuesday night Q&A Hangout. An offseason for the Kansas City Chiefs that started much earlier than anticipated, and it feels like we've been talking about the offseason now for quite a while, but you're kind of slowly turning the page to the draft. The Super Bowl is obviously this weekend between the Seahawks and the Patriots. I think the Seahawks are probably going to win that, but I would love to know your guys' thoughts because this is the last time we are going to converse before the Super Bowl. So let me know who you think is going to win. Let me know your score prediction. Just be curious to know what you're thinking. I do think the Seahawks probably win this game, but what's fun about the NFL, what's fun about the playoffs is it's all single round elimination, right? If you have a bad game, you're going home. You're done. It's not like the NBA or the MLB where you have all these multi-game series and you could afford to have an off game. No, you can't. If you have a bad game, you're done. It's over. So with that caveat in mind, there's some paths to victory for the Patriots for sure. I just think if I had to put money on the team as a whole, even though I think Drake May is probably the more clutch quarterback of the two, I'm still rolling with Sam Darnold and the Seahawks, leaning on the run game and Kenneth Walker, leaning on JSN and that defense. I mean, that defense is so good. It's going to be a huge test for the Patriots, and they've already struggled in the playoffs against other defenses that, I mean, are up there. The Broncos' defense is great, but I think the Seahawks' defense is better. So I'll be intrigued to see how it plays out. We'll be streaming during that game. Of course, we stream all the playoff games, or as many as we possibly can. And then the Chiefs are just turning the page. They're getting ready for free agency frenzy, which is in roughly like a month. I mean, 5 weeks, and then you're really gearing up, ramping up for the draft, right? And I titled this stream the way that I did just because I think the title is something like, the Chiefs are in somewhat of an exciting situation. What does that mean? Well, you didn't finish at the mountaintop. You finished not great. 6-11. There's a lot of negatives you could look at, for sure. There's a lot. You could look at it glass half empty, and it's easy to do that after a bad season. But if I just look at the depth chart, I mean, I can easily point out some positives. And that's just what I want to do for a second. And then would love to get your guys. It's like, there's a lot of negativity going on in the world right now, guys. Even personally speaking, I had a family member that I found out passed away today. And we weren't super close, but it was still somebody that I was fond of, had a lot of respect for growing up. And I don't want to get too into the weeds of it because it's personal stuff, but just a family member passed away today that was unexpected. 50-something years old, not old. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna spit out some positives and some things to look forward to and to be grateful for. As far as the running back room goes, Brashard Smith, I think that's where you're at right now. And then the positive of that is you've got room to improve. Because Brashard Smith could maybe be your punt returner, kick returner, niche gadget guy on offense, and maybe in a couple years he's your Jerick McKinnon, Jerick McKinnon light, rather. Kareem Hunt might come back. I was looking at his name as I was talking about it. The wide receiver room, yeah, I've recently talked about my concerns with the wide receiver room, right? I see your condolences in chat, guys. I appreciate it, man. Loss is never easy. A lot of you in chat have lost somebody that you care about, whether that's family or friend or something like that. And loss is never easy. It actually sucks. There's no way around it. But when I look at the wide receiver room, I mean, I'm excited to see what Jalen Royals has. Worthy, healthy. We can say what we want about Worthy's play and lack of field awareness and all that last year, but he was playing injured, confirmed by the shoulder surgery that he had. He was clearly not trusting himself and not playing the way that he could. Now, the caveat I've seen to that in a lot of comments is, well, Cole, even if he gets healthy, he's going to continue to be a bit injury prone because of his size. Maybe. He's fought through injuries plenty of times before, and I don't feel like he has a huge injury history himself, but you are right in the sense of this is a smaller bodied guy getting hit by literal refrigerators that can move at the speed of light. This is the NFL. Thank you so much for the 20 bomb, Jennifer. Condolences. Yeah, I don't want to get into it because it's personal, but it is an unfortunate situation that I found out just a couple hours ago. What else about the wide receiver room? That might be it. I mean, Rice, we'll see. I'm hoping for more from Rice. I think he plays. He's got the allegations right, but that post got deleted, and there hasn't been a police report filed. The NFL's looking into it, so we'll see. But even still, Rice is on the last... This is crazy to think about. Rice is on the last year of his rookie deal. And I hope he just takes a little bit of a step up after what I would consider to be a subpar or underwhelming return. Like, he had moments, but he also had some really key, crucial drops and didn't progress like I thought he would. Again, he was injured and away because of suspension, right? So maybe some of that's just rust, and hopefully he looks better next year. I do want to say, like, Travis Kelce's hopefully returning. And I don't know what else to say about the tight end room other than I hope he's able to, or they go and get an answer, because I'm not really sure Noah Gray, Jared Wiley, and Jake Brenningstool is your future tight end room by any means. And Noah Gray kind of took a step back, but I do have a couple bright spots to process through real quick with you guys on the line. I think Esa Pole was a huge bright spot. You have to do the right thing if you're the Chiefs this year and keep him. A lot of people wanted him to stay. He ended up not making the 90-man roster, and I think... Where'd he go? New York Jets, maybe? But he ended up coming back, and I think he has a bright future with the team. Whether that's as the next man up, he's your future swing tackle, that's fine. But I really like what I saw from Esa Pole. Kingsley Suamataia was arguably outside of Josh Simmons, and that's a bright spot too. Josh Simmons just isn't here because he's on IR. He's not on the depth chart because he got placed on IR, but Josh Simmons is obviously a huge bright spot too, and I'm very excited about him. But Esa Pole is kind of one of those, whoa, didn't really expect that, didn't expect him to come back and look as solid as he did in a really limited sample size as an undrafted guy. But then Kingsley Suamataia, to go from a left tackle hopeful, rookie year, got benched super early. It was poor planning by the Chiefs coaching staff and front office to roll out a battle for left tackle between Wanye Morris and Kingsley Suamataia. It just wasn't a good idea. But year 2, kicks inside to guard. He's not Joe Thuney. We can't pretend that he is. He's not one of the best guards in all of football, but I do think he took some really positive steps forward, and I'm very happy for him and proud of him just to kind of weather the storm his rookie year. Was probably really down on himself. I don't know why my voice just cracked like that, but he was really down. He was so down, my voice is cracking. And he really rebounded in a great way as the left guard. For defense, I mean, I think we saw some positives from Ashton Gelati in the second half of the year that I'm excited to see him build upon. I don't really have a lot else on the D-line. I think George Karlaftis is still a solid player in his role, but they need to upgrade. We know that. Chris Jones is Chris Jones. He's no longer head and shoulders above everybody, but he's still a top 3, top 5 defensive tackle in most metrics. And you get another playmaker, whether that be, I mean, you can kind of take your pick. It could be Bailey. This looks really funny when I zoom out. Here we go. I'm like, it could be Bailey. It could be Ruben Bain Jr. I know a lot of people have been talking about those guys. It just kind of depends on where you're looking. I recently saw some talk about, I saw Peter Woods getting mocked to the Chiefs recently, and I don't think a lot of people like that, partially because is he a little bit older prospect? And then who was the other defensive tackle that I just saw get mocked to the Chiefs recently? It wasn't Peter Woods. It was Caleb Banks. Caleb Banks was another one. Regardless, you have needs along the D-line, right? We know that. But if I will look at, I'm just looking at positives, okay? And then I'm almost done. But I was like, you know what? This is a good time to talk some positives. And there's so many people on IR, like I'm probably skipping over. Ashton Gelati, I mentioned him. We'll see about Omar Norman Lott. coming off of the ACL. The linebacker room, I don't know. I do have some high hopes for Jeffrey Bossa. Maybe even, who was the other linebacker that kind of showed out? Cooper McDonald, the undrafted guy. He made the roster. Yeah, Cooper McDonald right here. Like, I'm excited for him. He might be like one of your core special teamers next year. I can speak a little bit more positively about the cornerback room. The steps that Christian Fulton took the last couple weeks of the season was positive enough. I think you should probably keep him on the last year of his deal. And then Noel Williams. Out of all the guys on defense, Noel Williams, I'm very excited for him. He could very well be your CB2 or just solid, don't bench him randomly, CB3. Like, it just kind of depends on the packages that they roll out. Shamari Connor's fine as a safety, just not a slot corner, please. I hope they can find a way to bring Brian Cook back. Jaden Hicks, hopefully get a little bit more out of him. And then if you want a positive about special teams, I do think Brashard Smith showed more flashes as a returner than we saw from Nico all year. And then, you know what? Matt Ariza was a lot better last year, especially landing punts inside the 20. That's something he really struggled with the year prior. And then Harrison Butker. Was he inconsistent last year? Yes. Did he kind of get it together in the back half of the season compared to the first half? Yeah. So those are some positives, man. And Andy Reid knows that they've got things to fix. They've made a lot of changes, right? Wide receiver coach, they requested to interview Deland McCullough, their former running backs coach, but he's got a lot of experience. Nagy is now the offensive coordinator of the New York Giants. Eric Bieniemy's here. They need a new assistant running backs coach. They know that they need to make changes. And so I think it's kind of an exciting time for the Chiefs. Just, what do you have? You experience nothing but wins and success. Well, how do you respond? Because that's really what it's about. It's about the response. How do you handle adversity? Not just during the season, right? Now, after your season was in the tank, Mahomes is rehabbing back from his ACL and his LCL. How do you respond? How do you come back? And how do you look with people talking about the dynasty possibly being dead? The Chiefs no longer being who they once were. And the AFC West is not getting easier either. So it's about the response, man. But I do think there was some positives to kind of process through together, and would love to get some of your thoughts on this season, even though obviously it wasn't a great one at all. Like, all things considered. What about trading Drew Tranquill and our first to jump the Saints? Will that work? Ooh, when you're talking trade value in the top 10, I couldn't tell you. Could look stuff up, but I think the Saints might need a linebacker, right? Drew Tranquill, you can move on from to save $6 million, but you're saying jump the Saints. Why? So you can get Jeremiah Love, maybe? Is O-line a priority or seems in good shape? Asked Socket. I think you should always be willing to continue investing into the trenches, offense and defense, but the offense is in a decent spot. O-line speaking, I mean, 4 of your 5 guys are solidified, right? Kingsley Suamataia is your left guard. I don't know why I'm going in a random order. Josh Simmons is your left tackle. Creed and Trey Smith. But yes, if you are on offensive tackle 5 and 6, Esa Pole and Jason Chu Godric, your international pathway player, you're not going to look the best always, right? So I think they're fine, but you can always get more depth. They don't have an answer, I don't think, at right tackle. So I have seen some people say, if there's a right tackle available, like an instant starter, get him in round 1. I guess I could see the vision, but I would be a little disappointed depending on who else was on the board. I'm sure some of you would too. Like, oh God, please don't take a right tackle when you need D-line. It could be defensive end. It could be defensive tackle. It could be wide receiver. But I could see it. D-line, though, you need help because Mike Dana's not coming back. Charles Omenihu's not coming back. I don't think Mike Dana's coming back. He's under contract, but you can move on from him and save some money. We'll see about Ashton Gelati. Omar Norman-Lott's coming back off the ACL, so that's a little bit of an unknown. You need help. interior, on the edge. You need help. So D-line, much more of a problematic situation than the O-line to me, but you know what? The 2 times the Chiefs have lost in the Super Bowl, their O-line has been pretty depleted. So if you want to make a case and an argument for taking O-line over everything, then okay, I could see it, and I could probably get with it if that's what they did, but I would definitely be disappointed. FLDB with the 40 months member milestone. That's awesome, dude. I'm planning something new for draft season. Chat, what matters most to have to you when you're watching the draft live? Yeah, we're working on some stuff for the draft, so let us know, especially during the live stream. Jay Kelsey with the 30 months. We need D-line help, and I hope we can reach one of these guys. Yeah, that kind of, I guess, rides or curtails right into what I was saying. Just the need for D-line. We'll see what they end up doing in free agency, right? But they're gonna need some help. That's why a lot of people have. I just see a lot of Reuben Bain or David Bailey. If either of them fall to the Chiefs at 9, they're going to the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think Reuben Bain Jr. is probably the more realistic. I would love to know your guys' thoughts. Some people talking about Falk, but I see Reuben Bain Jr. a lot to the Chiefs. But I also see Reuben Bain Jr. going often before 9. So I just think it really depends a little bit how the board falls, and we'll get a little bit more of a clear picture during free agency after some of these teams address some needs here. Omar Norman Lawton Rice is a trade package. Trade package for who and what? I don't want Love. Pick up Hall or Walker in free agency and draft Reuben Bain or Caleb Downs. There you go. Yep, those are 2 that I've seen talked about, and I was just watching. It's a podcast with the PFF guy, Trevor Sikkema, and his co-host, and the Stock Exchange. I was listening to their podcast, and they were talking about a couple different things, but speaking obviously very highly of Caleb Downs. That's very interesting. Do you think there's a high chance that the Chiefs could take Caleb Downs at 9 if he's available, considering he is a safety? But obviously, there is a need at safety there if you let Brian Cook walk. It feels like an early time to pick a safety, but I'm sure if we go back through the years, there's been safeties taken early. I don't have anybody off the top of my head, per se. But I'm sure some people in chat, you guys are just a wealth of knowledge. But you can find good safeties. It doesn't have to be that early. But like Brian Branch was 45th overall. That's just like one recent that I'm like, oh yeah, he's a pretty good safety. And I think about Brian Branch because he was available for the Chiefs to take. Percy Franco, what's up, man? Thank you for the 100 ARS. How was Matt Nagy that they wanted him to go? I actually played Madden NFL for the first time today. Nice. The other day, I saw the moment of FLDB jumping on the bed during Packers Bears. We need to clip that and use it in our streams, man. We need to clip that and use it in our streams. I don't know. I don't know what Matt Nagy is. Somebody asked me today, what does Matt Nagy bring? Why is my voice cracking? I don't know. Keeps cracking. What does Matt Nagy bring to the table? I'm like, I don't really know, because he was with the Chiefs for 3 years and Andy Reid runs the show and calls the plays. Now, did he have some moments in Chicago as their head coach? Yes. That's why I'm just rooting for him. Just to be honest with you, I'm just rooting for Matt Nagy in New York. I hope that offense looks really good. Hope he gets the best out of them, and we can be like, look, Matt Nagy's doing his thing over there. Because at the end of the day, yes, did I want him to go? Yes, was I frustrated as a fan? Of course. But do I hope that these guys succeed? Yeah, for sure. I don't have anything against Nagy. He seems like a genuine dude. I don't really know what he did, for the Chiefs sometimes. I understand what he did. Help with game planning, prepping, being around the players in the meetings, leading a lot of the offensive meetings. But I still don't fully know. And now you've got EB back, and Matt Nagy is the OC of the New York Football Giants. We have 214 votes so far on this poll. Who do you think wins Super Bowl 60? 48% of you said Seahawks by a lot. 43% said Seahawks in a close one. 0% said Patriots by a lot. 9% Patriots in a close one. I hopped on 5 Point and Tree, their podcast today. They do like Super Bowl. I don't even know what they call it. It's like their own Super Bowl media row or whatever. They do that every year. And I hopped on there to talk some football with them for 10 minutes or so. And I think everybody but 5 creators that they interviewed all day, everybody picked the Seahawks to win. The hot take is to take the Patriots. I just don't think they're going to. I'm not even being biased. I just don't think they're going to win. I just don't think they're going to win. Joe with the 5. Let's go. Appreciate it, man. Hope they take an edge or a D lineman in the first. Yeah. Considering you need defensive tackle and edge help, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if that's who they took. But I would also be intrigued with Jordan Love. I could get on board with Caleb Downs. I could get on board with, for some reason, I don't know why he would be, like Carnell Tate is there. I saw a recent mock draft where Carnell Tate went 8th to the Saints. So he was right in that range. He was right in that range. Drink some water. Yeah. That's a good idea. That's why my voice cracked twice. Need water. Cole, your voice is cracking. Drink water. Yep, Seahawks don't have Rashid Shaheed. They traded him away, and he's a free agent anyway. You voted Patriots by a little? Ooh, spicy, Gary. Pats will make it closer than normal, but 20-7, it won't be high scoring. I think I said 30-21 Seahawks win. I have no freaking idea how it could go. I could just see a turnover happen by the Patriots and the Seahawks either make them pay or Rashid Shaheed houses a punt or a kickoff, and you just get some extra points via some, I don't know, unorthodox ways. And that could really start to rack up the score a little bit. We are on Brian Thomas. Where are we on Brian Thomas? And do you remember this from last week? What's up, Sharkbait? Do I remember this from last week? Well, we talked about the idea of trading for Brian Thomas Jr., and me and Seth talked about that in a recent podcast. He's back on Thursday as well, and we'll talk some stuff. But I'm not opposed to the idea for the right draft capital, but I mean, it is a guy on a rookie deal. He's having he had a bit of a down year, yes, but he would immediately be your outside receiver and would have a lot of use in the offense. He's under cost control, but how much would they be willing to let him go for? And would they even be willing to at all? Yes, you have Travis Hunter. You traded for and extended Jacoby Myers. So there is like a legitimate line of thinking to, oh yeah, maybe they could be willing to trade Brian Thomas Jr. And I know he had his struggles last year, so I'm not even saying that's like a foolproof plan, because it's not. But it's a bit of a risk that you take when you're trying to look around, like when the Chiefs traded for Kadarius Toney, or just like pick your poison. You typically are going to be trading for somebody on their rookie deal, and you're going to have to give up a little bit of draft capital. Now, you could absolutely say, no, Cole, they cannot afford to give up any draft capital. They need to draft everybody that they can. They need to hit on as many picks as they can, and they need a bunch of young guys on cheap contracts. I think the only pushback to that is we know Brian Thomas Jr. can succeed at the NFL level, down year or not, with the Jags. So it's a less of a risk in my eyes to trade for somebody who's shown, hey, look, I can produce at the NFL level, than it is to take a swing on a draft pick that you hope can. Not every draft pick pans out. We see it happen all the time, right? Shane, thanks so much for the 99 cents. Brother, let's go. Brian Thomas Jr. would be a good addition. They would have to trade McDuffie. Yeah, that's actually a good point. You get the draft capital from McDuffie. You use that in some way, shape, or form to justify trading for somebody like Brian Thomas Jr. But if you do that, you do need to bring back Jalen Watson or something. I don't think, I talked about it last week, I don't think you can roll into the season with only Noel Williams and Christian Fulton. That's your two. Because remember, they're losing Joshua Williams, Najee Johnson, Jalen Watson, and Brian Cook right now to free agency. 4 of the Fab 5. Did I say that right? I think that's 4, because the 5th one would have been Trent McDuffie. Well, did you see a post saying Chiefs could get Breece Hall and Joe Mixon? I don't want Joe Mixon. He's dealing with a really weird foot injury. He missed the entire 2025 season due to a mysterious freak foot ankle injury sustained during the offseason. While initially feared to be a short-term issue, the injury did not improve as hoped, leaving his status for 2026 uncertain. So definitely no on Mixon. And I'm not even the guy that'll just instantly shut down a comment, but just knowing that freak foot ankle injury, I would just say no. But Breece Hall, sure, I am intrigued. I do wonder how many of these running backs are actually going to hit free agency, because I think there's a chance Breece Hall could be franchise tagged. Running back, I'm searching it, franchise tag 2026. To franchise tag a running back would be $14.5 million. That's a lot of money for 1 year for a running back, but it would be to potentially tag and trade Breece Hall, or tag and get an extension done. The Jets are in a weird spot because they have so many draft picks. I think they have money to spend, but they do need a running back. So that's kind of the question with any of these top guys. I've seen comments on my social media accounts, and I agree with a lot of comments. They're saying, hey, we can't assume the top of market guys are going to be available. That's very true, because they could be franchise tagged, or they might just want to go back with their team. They might just say, hey, I don't really care to get into a bidding war. And that doesn't always happen, right? Most players, I know any given snap, any given play, any given year could be their last, because it's a violent, brutal sport. A young man's game, so they say. It is getting safer overall, right? Year in and year out for the most part, but they will often just take the money. Will the Chiefs be the most competitive in the market? Probably not, but they might have to be pretty competitive if they want to land somebody. It's just the reality of the situation. But yes, some players, let's say Kenneth Walker. Let's say the Seahawks win a Super Bowl. You could go 2 ways with the mindset if you're Kenneth Walker. I got a ring. I'm going to get as much money as I possibly can in free agency. Or I want to do that again. That was a lot of fun. Can we run it back? Can we work something out? You got Zach Charbonnet with the torn ACL. You could use me. I want to stay. We just want a ring. Like, let's go. So yeah, there's always things like that could happen at the beginning of free agency or just prior to. Hall is way too much money for the Kingdom wallet. I would love to have him in the backfield though, said Detroit. Yeah, they don't typically spend money on a running back. I just think you have to look at it and go against tendencies sometimes. What has barely investing in the running back room, from draft picks to 1-year projects or hopefuls, like what has that done for the running back room? What did that do? How did that look last year? What did teams think of that on defense? Well, they laughed their asses off at it. They thought it was funny. They thought it was hilarious. They didn't have to plan, prepare, brace themselves for the dynamic, scary running back room of the Kansas City Chiefs. They laughed at it. So how did that work out for you? It didn't. That's why I'm like, yeah, they probably won't spend money, but at the same time, it's like, you should probably consider it, because Patrick Mahomes is coming off of a season-ending knee injury, and the running back room was a laughingstock of the NFL. And that's no disrespect to the players. It's coaching, it's scheme. It's kind of a mixed bag. I think you have to be willing to spend money if you're not going to get somebody like Jeremiah Love or draft a running back pretty early. I think you've got to go get somebody. Now, who's going to be available? I don't know. We've kind of talked about that. There's a few bigger options. Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker. You could lump ETN in there as well. After that, it kind of tapers down. Rico Dowdle. I mean, I'd have to pull up the list to kind of go through the names, but if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, you can't get by with the Band-Aid running back room approach anymore. You can't. You get the most light boxes in football. The most light boxes last year of any other team, and they did nothing with it. Absolutely nothing. Time for a change. Sorry for the rant. I apologize. Cole, you talked last week about a 3-4 guy. What does that mean, please? So, let me see if I could just pull something up. It doesn't really matter as much in college or just even today because people are so athletic they can just kind of move all around. But 3-4 uses 3 linemen and 4 linebackers. 4-3 uses 4 linemen and 3 linebackers. So I was asking somebody, or somebody was saying, I don't even remember who it was. This draft prospect played college in a 3-4. 3 linemen, 4 linebackers, but that's typically the outside linebackers. That's the difference where you get an OLB, outside linebacker, or defensive end, where the Chiefs are 4-3. 4 linemen most of the time, 3 linebackers. They can mix it up, and it's not the rule. It's not the hard, fast rule. But yeah, it's easier to get a guy from college that played in a 4-3. So 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, so a defensive end, to then come to an NFL team that also runs a 4-3. Are there exceptions to it? Absolutely. But that is what I was talking about. Marcus with the 5. Thank you so much, brother. What do you think of a McDuffie trade for Pickens, then trade Rasheed for draft capital? Dude, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing because I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's do it. The only thing about that is we're playing Madden there a little bit, but Pickens is a free agent. So unless the Cowboys franchise tag him, which I guess they could, they're just paying so much money to CeeDee Lamb. I do think they're a very dynamic duo, CeeDee and Pickens, but he's a pending free agent, so you might not have to trade for him at all. You could sign Pickens in free agency, trade Rashee Rice for draft capital, but here's part of the problem. He's going to cost a lot of money, like $30 million a year or something like that. And we can say all we want. George Pickens is, he might be a bit dramatic and you got to deal with his antics and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, at least with George Pickens, for the most part, they're on the field antics. Like, I'm not trying to be rude here, but Rashee Rice has had there's been off the field antics. I think I would rather have the off the field, or on the field rather, maturity stuff. Getting a personal foul because he says something stupid. It's like, that's what I would rather deal with than the off the field stuff. Now, I do want to just clarify again, the Rice stuff, the most recent off the field thing, it's an allegation and the post got taken down and we don't know what's going to come from that. There's no police report filed or anything, right? But part of me is like, I don't know, guys. We sit there and say, oh, this guy wouldn't be good. Now, is Rice loved in the locker room? Is he have any drama in the locker room? No, I don't think so. But I don't think you're paying George Pickens. I would be very surprised if the Chiefs forked out $30+ million a year for Pickens. Trading McDuffie, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. It's just a matter of how much is Jalen Watson going to get in the open market? Because if you're saying, I saw somewhere Jalen Watson's market value was like $15 million. Well, if Trent McDuffie wants $30 million, is Trent McDuffie worth 2 Jalen Watsons? I don't know. Unless you're just going to say, nah, we're playing you in the slot where you're first team all-pro, you can kick outside from time to time, and that's where his value is. His versatility, talking about McDuffie, to kick inside, to play outside, to move around, he can shadow. Jalen Watson is an outside corner. But, yeah, it's not impossible to get to the conclusion of how the Chiefs can trade away Trent McDuffie. He's on his 5th-year option, though. You can franchise tag him next year. They don't have to do anything. Brenda with the 40 months. Let's go. Appreciate it. She said, I would prefer they draft defensive end, defensive line at 9, trade and trade or get a running back in free agency. Could also like to see trade back for picks and get a tight end later. What do you think? Yeah, I think sometimes you have to think about what a position costs in free agency or to get long-term deals done. What are very expensive positions in the NFL? Left tackle. I mean, quarterback, obviously, but the Chiefs don't need quarterback. They don't need left tackle. But what else is expensive? Wide receiver. That's getting very expensive. The top guys are making $35 to $40 million a year. But what other position is making that? Defensive end. So that's why it's like, well, if you're looking at it from a monetary standpoint, you could probably afford to spend a little bit more on a running back in free agency. And then you've got to get defensive tackle, defensive end, wide receiver early in the draft and hit somebody. Whoa. They have to pan out. They have to be a hit is what I'm getting at least a couple of them. That's the hope. Not year one, 100% per se. Sometimes it takes these players a couple years. I don't like to write a draft pick off until year 3. I'm saying like at the end of year 3, it's like, okay, he's either going to work out here or he's not. And then there still has been 4th year leaps because the contract year is undefeated. Unless you're a first round pick and you have the 5th year option. You know what I mean, though. But yeah, there's a scenario where the Chiefs could absolutely trade back. Let's say they don't love what's left for them at 9 and they want to move back. And it doesn't even just have to be pick 9. They could move back with another pick too. But let's just say they do move back at 9. A few slots. I mean, everybody's going to freak out about that, but you could get potentially another top 100 pick to move back and kind of do it that way too. But tight end is interesting. We'll just kind of see about Travis Kelce if he returns, but that's still like Noah Gray. You can get out of his contract this year if you wanted. Jared Wiley is a bit of an unknown question mark because he didn't play this year, like at all. And then Jake Brenningstool is an undrafted free agent that, sure, that could be fun, but we don't know about that either. So definitely when you look at the longevity of the tight end room, even over the next couple of years, I don't know that there's a long-term answer there. Even Kelsey's if he comes back, that's great. And I hope he does. I think he does. And I think he will be still a very quality playmaker in the Chiefs offense for sure. There's nothing long-term about it though. Brett Veach and them, they always have to look 2-3 years ahead. You don't always make moves for the future, but you have to, it's the balancing act, right? You could be like some teams and just say, F the picks, we're going all in now, but that's not really where the Chiefs are. It's a very important offseason, but they're established. They have that's not like they've got a quarterback on the rookie deal like Drake May, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. I mean, pick your poison over there. Jackson Dart, Tyler Shuck, if he's their starter. They're all still on their rookie deals, and you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive because of that. Rudy with the 2 bomb. Hey Cole, love what you do, bro. Keep it up. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. Yeah, all year round it gets a little slower in the off season, but we'll always cover the team and we'll do a little bit of draft stuff, I think, in tomorrow's video. Not like a lot, but we'll look at some of the most drafted guys to the Chiefs and start going that route. We'll keep looking at free agents, and we'll keep it going all year round. Huckleberry in the house with the 25 months. Let's freaking go tier. Come on, man. Thank you. Elite D-line is going to be much, much more expensive. Yep, exactly. To grab in free agency than a running back. You're looking at $30 million a year. Running back in free agency, much more reasonable for a top-tier player. Exactly, brother. That's what I was saying a little bit earlier. Just look at some of those positions, and that's where it's like safety. You can sometimes get away with paying a safety, and some people would say, well, they don't love that they paid Nick Bolton what they did, but they did. Sometimes they're paying, and we don't always agree with it, but I think Nick Bolton he's got his strengths, right? It's just the deficiency is clear in coverage, and that is frustrating to some fans for sure. You combine that with Chamari Connor not really belonging in the slot, but they kept putting him there, and the middle of the field became just a buffet for opposing defenses. So yes, definitely frustrating, but that's why you look at the most expensive positions, right? And you're either trying to do creative things like the Aminahue signing a couple years ago, or like a little 1-year one-offs. But at some point, yeah, you hope you can hit in the draft. And you got pick 9. So hopefully whoever that pick is, if that's what you're doing, you're not trading back, you're not doing that, you're not trading that pick away for somebody that's already proven. You're not doing none of that. If you're picking at 9, the Chiefs are never in the top 10. The last time they were in the top 10 naturally was 2013 when they drafted Eric Fisher first overall. They traded up to 10 for Patrick Mahomes in 2017, but the last time they had a top 10 pick was in 2013. How many years ago? 13? What is that? 13. Time flies. So yes, this pick has to be a hit. If it's D-line, fine. Defensive end, makes sense. Reuben Bain Jr., all right. Wide receiver, okay. It's got to be defensive tackle even. Maybe you could talk me into that too. It's got to be somebody that can play quickly and at a high level. Robert with the 5 bomb. Thank you, man. Cole, I feel like KC doesn't deserve Patrick, and they'll continue to waste his gifts because they're too cheap to give him real weapons and a defense. Okay. All right, let's think about this. This is a good comment. Okay, I don't feel like... Well, I guess when it comes to a top 3 quarterback of all time, you could probably always justify, like, we're not worthy of this player being on the team, right? Because they're that good. And we want them to always be set up for as much success as humanly possible, right? I don't think Veach or Andy Reid... How do I want to say this? I think they know that there's deficiencies, but I think Mahomes has just always been able to overcome that, right? So, yes, no team goes into the season without some weaknesses or deficiencies. That's why you could always talk about, you could do like season predictions and say, well, this team is going to struggle here potentially because they're a little light at corner, and if one of those top 2 guys goes, they have no depth, and it's going to be a real struggle. You can kind of just go team by team and look at their weaknesses. So I do think the Chiefs have tried. They have not always been correct. Mahomes has done a lot of the carrying, but then Mahomes is expensive. You should look at how many teams have won a Super Bowl when their quarterback is taking up 15% or more of that team's salary cap. But there's a stat out there. Somebody maybe in chat could tell me what it is. Basically never is the answer. And yet on that deal, they've still been able to win a couple Super Bowls. It's not easy. I don't envy their job. I think they have tried, especially when you've got like Chris Jones, Mahomes, and a couple other players. Like, they're taking a lot of money, like on the cap. And then you're drafting late in all these rounds. So your first round pick is like, well, hopefully he can be a contributor. We're picking him at 31 or whatever. So it has been difficult. But at the same time, I don't want to just sit there and make excuse after excuse after excuse, because we saw some of the writing on the wall. In the offseason, we're like, hey, what the heck is up with the running back room? Like I said all offseason, I didn't sit there and say, oh, they're going to be horrible, because I was trying to be optimistic, but I was like, the running back room is a huge question mark. I have no idea what to expect from this room. I am a little concerned there. Real weapons in a defense. I mean, hopefully they make some of those changes this offseason, Robert. I think part of it's champagne problems. You keep making it to the Super Bowl, you keep winning, and it's like working. So you keep rolling with it, but it's not necessarily the best idea to keep, like, you can only hold some things together with glue and duct tape for so long, right? Eventually that's just going to fall apart. And it fell apart this year. So yeah, they definitely need to address it. You have to be a little strategic. But I do think if Clark Hunt wants to, he could be a little bit more aggressive. Maybe not like the Eagles. They're the polar opposite of how the Chiefs like to operate, with void years and spreading out that money, right? And pushing that further down the road. But we keep seeing the salary cap raise every year. It's going to rise to what, $301 to $305 million this year? Like 5 years ago, it was at $200 million. It's already gone up how much? So I think they could be a little bit more aggressive in that front for sure. That's such a loaded question, Robert, and I think fans they have a right to feel how they feel. I always get entertained on Twitter watching, like, on average, young Chiefs Twitter arguing with older Chiefs Twitter, because the young guys, they want everything that they possibly can for Patrick Mahomes, who's one of the best quarterbacks to ever play football, still in his prime, and they're going to be critical. It doesn't matter. Nobody's off limits to be critical about. It could be any player. It could be any coach. It could be Veach. It could be Clark Hunt. Where the older Chiefs fans, yeah, we saw a lot of bad, a lot of not great Chiefs years, and we're extremely grateful for where the Chiefs are now. And it's like, well, the Chiefs have been to 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, I guess 5 and 7 now. They've won 3. What more do you want? It's like, well, we want more. So I kind of see both sides, and that's the balancing act. And I'm always entertained because I could look at it and be like, yeah, I think you got to hold these guys accountable. I think they can do better, coach better, make better moves, and all of that, right? But I also think sometimes it's just like, well, running an NFL team is not easy. It's very hard to be successful for long periods of time. It's not even set up for dynasties to be built and sustained. It's really not. You get punished for doing well via the draft, missing out on getting the higher quality coaches that you could potentially bring into the fold because they're all getting hired early. All the top coaches were off the board every time the Chiefs are still in the playoffs. And it's not like Andy Reid wants to bring in a bunch of coaches anyway, but I'm just saying it is a tough thing. And I could definitely see a little bit of both sides here. Crimson with the 5. Cole, would you rather catch a pass? Okay. Cole, would you rather catch a pass across the middle against Ronnie Lott? Oh my gosh. Or try to stop Derrick Henry 20 yards downfield? I think both Ronnie Lott, longtime safety that would light people up, or Derrick Henry. Okay, if I just have to pick one, Cole, would you rather catch a pass across the middle against Ronnie Lott or try and stop Derrick Henry 20? I think I'm just going to go with the Ronnie Lott situation because best case scenario, I just get knocked out and I just don't remember it. Derrick Henry, I don't know. That might put me in the hospital for a long time. I mean, both of them would. So, impossible question, to be honest with you. Robert with the 2. Cole, when do you think Mahomes wins his 4th ring? Ooh, ring 4? Let's go 2 years. We'll get back to the mountaintop in 2 years. I don't know. I'm just being optimistic about it. Joe with the 5. I'm a trenches guy. Give me a right tackle or edge. Pat is a generational talent. They need to block for him and attack the opposing quarterback. Yeah, and that's why I said earlier in the stream, if you say, hey, they're going to take a right tackle early, okay, I could get behind it. But I do think D-line is probably where they end up going. The 2 times they lost in the Super Bowl, they had no O-line. So the more the merrier for me. Mike Caliendo, you need better depth. If Mike Caliendo's out there, I'm scared. That's just where you're at with it all. But yeah, you win in the you win in the trenches. Trenches win championships. They need to block for him and attack the opposing quarterback. Yeah, D-line, I think just another quality edge rusher, man. I think it's going to do so much for the D-line. If the D-line can get home, it just changes everything. It helps. It makes the secondary look better. It rattles the opposing quarterback. They've got a game plan not just for Chris Jones and then sometimes George Karlaftis, right? But you're not losing sleep at night over George Karlaftis most times. You're trying to figure out how to take Chris Jones out of the game, and he needs more help now. If you can get a more impactful pass rush, it changes every single dynamic of your defense. Absolutely, for sure. And then sometimes with the offense, I think some of it's you need more experienced coaching staff to get more out of the players. They're doing that. Andy Reid needs to adjust his scheme. I hope they do that. You upgrade the running back room. You already have some 4/5 of your O-line solidified for years to come, but I don't disagree that you need to add depth, and there's not a long-term answer at right tackle, and I don't even know if Jalen Moore is the answer at right tackle either. But if you could make sure that's solid, stable, you upgrade the running back room, a dynamic playmaker in the backfield would change so much about the Chiefs' offense. I already said it earlier. Nobody cared about the run game last year, opposing defenses. They didn't bite. They didn't care about play action. They didn't care about the RPOs. They played for the pass because that's all the Chiefs had. They did have Kareem Hunt in short yardage. I do want to be clear about that one. They did have Kareem Hunt in short yardage. We need more gadget guys? Oh, we need more gadget plays? Like what? What do you mean? Wait, what's happening? Something like really good or just good? Oh, I talked about it earlier. I was just trying to look at the team with a positive outlook. Like, it's kind of an exciting situation for the Chiefs. You have a chance to respond. You get a draft earlier than you have in a long time. And here's another positive that I didn't really say earlier. When you have a season this bad, the coaching staff can no longer just be like, well, it's fine. Look, we made it to the Super Bowl again. I know there's holes, there's weaknesses, but it's fine. We've made it work. We'll continue making it work. No, not this time. Not this time. Kobe with the 2-bomb. Thanks, man. Your message got retracted, so I'm not sure what you said. I'm sure it was something super nice or just, I don't know why it got retracted, to be honest with you, but thank you so much for the 2-bomb, bro. I wonder if can I see it over here? There might be a way for me to see it. Maybe I can. It just says 2. Okay, I can't. I thought Jalen Moore is a left tackle. Yeah, but they were playing him on the right side and like really trying to potentially make that work, maybe seeing if that's what he could do next year too. Now, Jalen Moore was great pinch hitting for Josh Simmons when he went down, and honestly, he would be a great swing tackle as well for next year. It's just an expensive swing tackle. Esa Pole could also be the left tackle, next man up kind of a guy too. There's not an answer at the right side. Like Wanye Morris? Jason Chu Godric? Like, who is it? Because we're going under the assumption that the Chiefs are letting go of Jawan Taylor and saving $20 million. You misclicked? Oh, okay, Kobe. No worries, man. Thank you so much for the 2. Made another live. What's up, D? D franchise in the house. The Bills and the Rams are running our gadget plays. We stopped? What do you mean by that? What when you say a gadget play, what is that? Like trick plays or something? Caleb, ever since the entire Sunday ticket hung, I've been relying on you for getting info on Chiefs games. Hey, let's go, Caleb. I appreciate it, man. I mean, the Bills, I'm just trying to think of Bills and Rams running gadget. The Bills go heavy. They've got a really nice run game. And then you've got Josh Allen to kind of help do the rest. They don't have like a super insanely stacked, talented wide receiver room by any means, but you have one of the best running backs in all of football. I think Dalton Kincaid's like a top 10-ish, fringe top 10 tight end. There's definitely some options there. The Rams, I mean, dude, you got Devontae Adams, you got Puka Nacua. Every one of their tight ends, I feel like, can block and catch. Higbee, like, kind of go down the list. Parkinson, they've got several guys, right? And then a lot of under center, a lot of runs. Blake Corum, Kyron Williams, play action off of that. And then obviously having Matt Stafford doesn't hurt things either. Esa Pole at right tackle, I just don't know he has any right tackle experience. I could be wrong. What? Cole on Fox. Fox? Oh, during the season I interview on Fox 4, like the local Fox 4 with those guys on their sports night. Yeah, that's we actually need to update that. Whoever hit Fox 4, I'm not doing anything with them until next season. I don't think. Maybe like a random Thursday night. Could the Chiefs trade for Justin Reed with a 3rd and a 7th? I hope they don't, just because you could have just signed him in free agency last year. Like to let him walk and then trade him for a 3rd and a 7th would be crazy to me. I think you bring back Brian Cook before you do that. He's still a solid safety. Cole's getting famously famous? Nah. Gadget plays could include Andy only scheming one person up at a time with 0 backup options. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't know what I'm trying to figure out. Gadget plays, like sometimes it's like, okay, how about we just get another playmaker? You upgrade the running back room, you play some bully ball a little bit, running from under center, and you operate some play action off that and help the quarterback out a little bit. Look at what the Seahawks do. Like look at what Sam Darnold has sometimes, because now the Chiefs offense will never do that. The Seahawks like pass like the least amount of times from a percentage standpoint in the NFL, the fewest, or however you phrase that. The Chiefs are the opposite of that. I'm just saying dial it back a little. What's up, FB? What up? Worthy didn't miss a game out of high school until the Kelsey hit. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not really injury prone, but I do know that some people are trying to say, hey, he's just really light, and now that he's in the NFL, he's probably going to be dealing with some injuries because those are some big dudes. Hope you're doing well, Tim. You think the Chiefs playbook lost a little creativity? Yeah, I think to some extent, yes. I think they got a little comfortable. I don't know that it was an intentional, but when you keep making it to Super Bowls, I think you got a little comfortable. And that is why I do think this year, I think Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan coached at a higher level than Andy Reid. I think Sean McVay might be the guy right now in the NFL. I'm not talking resume. Andy Reid is going to be a top 3 coach, top 5 coach, wherever you want to throw him in there, to ever play. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. McVay still is writing his story. He's only 40. Andy Reid's almost 70. That's 30 years difference almost. But I do think some of these teams, when you look at the offenses and how they're able to move the ball down the field, and are they perfect? No. Is McVay perfect? No. Do I think he's coaching at one of the highest levels in football right now? And does his coaching tree kind of even show you that? Look at all of his offensive coordinators that have peeled off and found success. I think it's McVay. And all that to say, I do think the Chiefs have lost a little creativity and they can get it back. I still have Andy Reid. He's still like 3rd to me right now, and it's fluid. When you do your top 10 QB rankings, your top 5 QB rankings, they kind of shuffle up and down a little bit year to year. Now, some Chiefs fans think that's absolutely blasphemous, that I don't just sit here and say Andy Reid is coaching at the highest level right now, and it's not a debate. I just don't think he is. Now, can they make the adjustments necessary and refine the playbook and adjust some things and get back to being a top offense in football? Absolutely. I want that. I want that a lot. So I don't know why. Why did I say that? We were talking about Chiefs losing creativity. Yeah, I had a post that kind of went crazy on Twitter last week about Sean McVay, but I think some Chiefs fans thought I was saying that Andy Reid is not. I don't even know what people were thinking I was saying. And that's why Twitter's hilarious to me. You post one sentence and then you just kind of go on to the next, and then everybody assumes everything else that you didn't say is what you actually meant, when it's no, not really. I just think McVay's coaching at the highest level, or Kyle Shanahan. Like, Kyle Shanahan is probably, he's coach of the year to me. All those injuries, what they were able to do. Mac Jones was out there slinging it, winning games. You had no Kittle for a while. You had no Purdy for a while. Ayuk went AWOL before the season. You lost Fred Warner. You lost Bosa. Like, what they were able to do from a coaching standpoint and all those injuries. Like, imagine the Chiefs lost Mahomes for half the season. Kelsey was on IR for a portion of the season because Kittle was early. Rashee Rice not only was suspended, but just never came back after suspension. Chris Jones went down due to injury, and Nick Bolton went down due to injury. You can't really compare Nick Bolton to Fred Warner, and in spite of all that, you have a winning record and you make it to the divisional round of the playoffs. Like that, a lot of that is coaching. And I do think they can bounce back. I think they can bounce back from it. Good night. Oh, good night, Shark Bait. Offense was vanilla. Yeah, man. They got to make some adjustments on offense for sure. Yo, what's up, Prod? You have a Fox 4 in Dallas also? Oh, nice, Kyle. Pole has never played any position other than left tackle. Yep, some can rotate and some can't. That's what I thought about Pole. Make the playoffs with half the roster on IR. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Over the offseason, would you prioritize running back room or pass rush? I think you have to put an emphasis on both. You're going to have to put more investment into the D-line because it just costs more in general, whether that's free agency or the draft, just from like a positional value argument. You have to emphasize both, though. I don't think there's one or the other to me. Now, am I saying they have to go like be lunatics and do Breece Hall and a second-round running back in, free agency and the draft, and then for the D-line make a huge swing for one of the top available defensive ends and then a first-round guy as well? No, not necessarily. But they do need to emphasize both of them. Do you think we will trade McDuffie? I think no, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't be surprised. He's definitely tradable. If a team wants him enough, they want to give up a couple draft picks, but they're also going to have to extend him. It's because he's young. He's a really good corner, probably the best slot corner or top 2 in the NFL, and a top 5, 7 outside corner, depending on who he's playing. It's a little matchup dependent for him because he's 5'11", but he's tradable. I don't know that they do. It just depends on their plan. If they want to take a bigger swing in free agency or trade for somebody, but they need the draft capital, you absolutely could trade McDuffie and then go get somebody. But again, you can't just trade away McDuffie and not bring back Jalen Watson or do something else in the cornerback room. Love your shirt. Hey, thank you. It's from Made Mob. But to move forward, only needs to use his QB better and make him play hero ball all season long. Well, I hope not, because Mahomes can't do that. Trey said, I may be wrong here, Chiefs Kingdom, but if you are like me and embarrassed this season, just wait. If we don't get deep into the playoffs next year, it's going to feel much worse, in my opinion. Have you made it to 1587 Prime yet? I have not. Yeah, this is a big offseason, a big test, and a big season for the Kansas City Chiefs, Trey Dog. If they have another down year, it's not going to be good. You'll have to have some just very serious conversations, and we'll see what happens. But I am optimistic. I don't think they're going to finish the year with a losing record and have a top 10 draft pick again. You look at these games, and it's like they legitimately coulda. I know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I get it. But they legitimately could have won 3 or 4 more of those games that they lost because they were all one score. Not all, but a lot of them were one score, and it was just like one critical error or mistake here or there. A Kelsey bobble at the goal line turned INT. Mahomes throwing a pick 6 against the Jags. The Kelsey bobble INT was against the Eagles. Those were both losses, right? Harrison Butker missed quite a bit early on in the season. The defense had some crucial downs and situations where they could not get off the field. They couldn't get stops on 3rd and long. And I'm not doing the thing of, they just need to tweak something here or there. It's going to be fine. They're going to bounce right back. I'm just saying that as bad as this season was, some of it was just kind of bad luck in some of these games where the year prior they went 15-2 or whatever it was, and they won all 11 of their one-score games. Luck went their way a little bit. I would be very surprised, man, if they come out and they're 6-11 again, 7-10. I think you're above 500, and you're making a push for a wild card spot. But again, we'll see. How does Mahomes respond with his knee? How does some of the positions that they address end up panning out from a player standpoint? Kelsey, is he returning? How much is Andy Reid tweaking his stuff? What about Spags? Like, it's not always just, it's really just, it's never one thing. It's super complex. Football is a game of very physical chess. How long do you think the Chiefs should keep Chris Jones? I think two more years and there's an out in his contract. You meant not all season long? All good night. As long as we still have Dave Merritt, I'm okay trading McDuffie. We could really use more draft picks. Yeah, that's an argument to be made in the sense of they've shown they can draft guys in later rounds and develop them and make them kind of flourish in the scheme. I mean, Jalen Watson, wasn't he a 7th round pick? Snead was a 4th or a 5th? Charvarius Ward was an undrafted guy. Wasn't Charvarius Ward undrafted? Let me double check that. The Chiefs didn't draft him for sure. He was with the Cowboys. Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $1.7 million contract as an undrafted free agent and then ended up getting traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. There's a bunch of examples of that working. So, for sure. You miss the first years when Pat got to read progressions and when things broke down, always had safety options. Yeah, the league figured it out a little bit, right? And then they adjusted. And then I know a lot of people talk about the year EB left and then the first year Matt Nagy took over as OC, like the decline in the Chiefs offense. And I think there's probably something to it for sure. But when Andy Reid runs the offense and calls the plays, I just think it's a bit more nuanced than that. 2022, when Mahomes had 5,200 yards, I don't think defenses really were prepared for what the Chiefs offense was going to look like without Tyreek Hill. I mean, Juju was playing at a very high level. Kelsey was still elite, which he's still a great tight end, one of the better tight ends in football, even at his age. Jerick McKinnon played out of his mind as a safety valve for Patrick Mahomes. And then you had a year of tape on it, right? And things just didn't, Juju wasn't right after that. And did Juju leave? I think he might have went to the Patriots. It's just, you could go and look back in all these years, and I just think it's such a complex discussion of what it was. I don't know that it's always as simple as who the OC is on a team where the OC doesn't run the offense or call the plays. But with that being said, Matt Nagy had to go. It was time for a change. I'm fine. I'm seeing the vision with an EB return. With the running back experience there, you're bringing in Chad O'Shea, a very experienced wide receivers coach. You then are trying to bring back Dylan McCullough, a very experienced running backs coach. Like, I can kind of see the vision there. But now it's like, how can the Chiefs respond? I think the best way they can respond on offense is to get a run game that defenses actually respect. You're going to give the Chiefs light boxes and dare them to run the football. Andy Reid needs to say, okay, bet. I'll take the dare. I'll take the free 7 yards, 10 yards, and guess what? Now we have a running back that actually can break tackles and force missed tackles and rip off explosives. 20 yards here. 20, like, I was listening to, I think, the Athletic Football Show's podcast, and they were talking about how the NFL has changed over the years with field position and kickers having a bigger leg, a better leg than ever. So if you naturally start with the ball at the 35 and a kicker is pretty much automatic from 50 to 55, you get one explosive play on a drive. All you need after that is like one first down, maybe another, and you're in field goal range. It's like that easy. And that's why you just need some explosive plays sometimes. It'd be beneficial. And I think a dynamic playmaker in the backfield could help the Chiefs with that. Now, yes, O-line needs to block better. You've got to set everybody up for success. But there are times when James Cook has nowhere to go. When pick a running back has nowhere to go. You're like, oh, he's getting tackled for a 2-yard loss. Whoop, juke, left, right, spin move, breaks a tackle, Gets 15 yards when he should have got tackled for a 3-yard loss. We never saw that with the Kansas City Chiefs last year, really even the year before. And that's where my argument is, get a playmaker back there, please. Because they are there to create something out of nothing sometimes. That's what playmakers do. What does Patrick Mahomes do when the play breaks down? He should be sacked. He creates something out of nothing. Travis Kelce. Like, just get a playmaker, man, in the backfield, please. Butker can kick rocks, though. He looked better in the second half of the year. His contract, you can't really move on from him. I think you've got to continue with that, but bring in some competition. Bring in a kicker that goes undrafted or something and get a little bit of a competition going over the summer and see what happens. Hard pass on a Tyreek Hill reunion. I know a lot of people are talking about that. I don't know. It's such a serious knee injury he sustained. If he looks okay at training, like by training camp, and signs on a cheap deal, like, I guess I could see it, but I just have to wait and see. Huge what if with his injury and the recovery for a guy that relies on crispy route running and outlandish, unworldly, jetpack-like speed in his routes. Yep, very good when plays broke down. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Knight. For cheap, maybe. I agree on the kicker. Yeah, it's like the kicker stuff, it's pretty black or white. Do you make kicks or do you miss kicks? And I think there's less forgiveness there. It's pretty night and day. You got to make them. And yeah, sometimes it's on the placeholder. Sometimes it's the wind, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, dude, millions of dollars or whatever it is to make kicks, you've got to make them. If you just keep missing, how many times are we just going to sit there and be like, oh, it's fine. He's helped with 3 Super Bowls in the past. It's fine. No, you can't do that. Like, you can't. So that's why with the Butker thing, I think he looked better. You've got to give him a little bit more time, but a kicker competition, and then if he starts missing within the first few weeks, like a few kicks, I mean, you might need to be calling somebody up. I don't know. You can't just accept mediocrity for a long period of time because of past resume. You can't. Not in football. Can't do it. Cole, does Andy Reid have trust issues with running backs? It was strange not to see them give Elijah Mitchell and Dameon Pierce more carries. Could be way wrong on this. Does he have trust issues with running backs? I just think the running back room was a bit of a mess from, like, Elijah Mitchell just didn't look right. He didn't have the burst that they were hoping for. And I think they were also expecting Isaiah Pacheco to come back looking a bit more like his pre-injury self. I think Isaiah Pacheco had incredible value. If you don't want to say incredible, fine. I think Isaiah Pacheco had pretty solid value his first 2 years in the NFL for a 7th-round pick. Back-to-back years of basically 1,000 scrimmage yards. His first 2 years in the NFL as a 7th-round pick, that is really good value. I think they were somewhat hopeful that he would look something like his first 2 years in the league, another year removed from the ankle injury, and he just wasn't. So you kind of whiffed on that, but their running backs coach, Todd Pinkston, was a former NFL wide receiver with no real running back coaching experience. Their assistant running backs coach was Mark DeLeon, who was a linebackers coach for years before becoming the assistant running backs coach. Well, they fired both of them, and you need more experience in there to get more out of the room. And they also brought EB back. So it was, I think, a whiff on a couple players, calculated risks. They didn't pan out. You didn't have the coaching staff to get more out of that room either. And you're trying to right the ship. I just hope that it pans out this year. And I can't speak on the part, does Andy Reid just not trust running backs? I don't know. I have no idea. But the Elijah Mitchell thing was a very weird situation, to say the least, that we were all confused about all season long. I think it doesn't help they took CEH first round, then they took Pop a year later in the 7th. I think it was 2 years later, but still, point remains. Took him a couple years later in the 7th, who outplayed him. So I feel like they wasted a first-round pick, but we need a good running back. Yeah, you can't be so scarred by past trauma, right, that you never try again. I sound like a therapist or something here, but you can't be so scarred by the past that you never move forward in the future and be willing to try again, right? If it's Jeremiah Love, cool. But it doesn't have to be either. But it also just doesn't have to be 7th-round picks and 1-year vet min deals for the rest of your life either. Even though, yes, CEH did not pan out. It was injury-related. I think he was fine before injury, but he got injured pretty early on, and he wasn't the same. He trusted Jamal Charles. Yeah, exactly. He definitely trusted Jamal Charles. Even Kareem Hunt, rookie year, 2018, so 2017, 2018. He got kicked off the team in November, I think, of 2018. He trusted Kareem Hunt quite a bit. He was averaging 16 carries a game. Used him in the pass game. That's what an Andy Reid running back's going to do. It's never going to be 30 carries on average. Now, Kareem Hunt had a game last year, I think, with 31 carries, but that is the exception, not the norm. Nefarious with the 20 bomb in the house. The thing with Butker, he just got off of surgery, was on his 3rd kicking style in 2 years, giving an entire offseason kicking the same way. He'll have his accuracy back next year, in my honest opinion. Happy Chinese New Year, Cole. Happy Chinese New Year? Dude, let's go. Somebody needs to teach me what that is. Is that awesome? Is that a holiday I'm missing? Am I missing out? But yeah, with Butker, he did have the knee cleanup on his meniscus. He missed like 6 games last year, but he had I don't know. For me, I'm like, God, dude, he had all offseason to work on it. He had all offseason to work on it. But I do agree. He sprained his ankle a few years ago. He then went to falling and collapsing on that knee to protect the ankle, got that habit built up. Then the wear and tear on his knee from falling, he had to get the meniscus cleaned up, and he can't really do that anymore, but he was used to that, so he was trying to switch back. I do get it, and that's why I'm also kind of like, yeah, I think he was starting to figure it out in the back half of the season, and based on his contract, you can't really move on from him anyway. Chiefs have a great running back history. Very true. Hardest part of maintaining a winning team is even if you make wildcard game, you're picking late every round. NFL should do a lottery like the NBA. Yeah, I'd be curious to know what you guys think about that. Chiefs need to draft a kicker? You could. I just think there's enough good kickers coming out that you don't need to. Unless it's like a 6th or a 7th rounder that you're just like, hey, we don't want to chance him going and signing with another team as a UDFA. Let's take him late. Sure. Lottery, nah. I don't mind the way that the NFL has it right now, but I don't know that it's perfect. I also don't know that I have what you should do because teams aren't really tanking. I do think you should be able to, you should fight for the top 5 picks. Like you should have like a toilet bowl. And it sounds like I'm trolling, but I'm really not. Like at the end of the year, like the 2 worst teams in the NFL should be playing each other for the first overall pick. The winner gets it. Like that would be fun to me. I don't know how how that would be possible, but dude, congratulations. You get the first overall pick if you win this game because you both sucked this year. Like I think it would be fun, but I don't know how you would facilitate that one. The lottery will cause too many dynasties. That's true. That's true. Somebody said thoughts on Peter Woods. Young guy. I've seen him recently mocked to the Chiefs. But I think I was asked about this last week, and we kind of talked about it. We kind of talked about it a little bit. He's number 14 on ESPN's big board out of Clemson. Yeah. Here's the thing. I've seen him mocked to the Chiefs at 9. I don't know that fans would love that, an interior defensive guy. we'll just kind of have to see how the board falls. And here's the reality. Spags is going to have his preferences that some people aren't going to agree with. Or Brett Veach's board might be higher on this player. Let's just say Peter Woods than our board or the average fan's board. I don't know. So you can't rule out the top couple of defensive tackles, the top couple of edge rushers, the top couple of wide receivers at 9. I don't even see how you could rule that out. Tight end, Kenyon Sadiq, I don't know. Jordan Love, maybe. But with them having the 9th overall, it's like, man, it could be, even Caleb Downs, I guess, safety. You never really know. Would you be mad if we drafted Spencer Fano at 9? Right tackle? He's a right tackle, right? Yeah, he started 13 games at right tackle and 11 games at left. Would I be mad? No. I would be disappointed, but I talked about it earlier. If they draft a tackle, I could get with it. Because you're going to have Josh Simmons on a rookie deal, Kingsley on his rookie deal, Creed and Trey Smith paid, and then Fano on a rookie deal. I understand the thought there. You have you're trying to go a little young and cheap and keep the talent high for the Kansas City Chiefs to protect Patrick Mahomes, especially considering you don't have a right tackle right now. But again, who's on the board at 9 when they did that? Like, was David Bailey and who's off the board by now? Was all the guys is Ruben Bain off the board? If they're all off the board, cool. I could get with it, but I don't know. Some of these teams, man, they're going to take tackles pretty early, especially if they think they're a plug-and-play starter. Nefarious with the 5 bomb. Haha, playoff tank bowl for 2 weeks. Final bottom 4 teams or the midweek between the Super Bowl. Bottom 2 teams. God, the football would be terrible. It would be so much better than the Pro Bowl. I do not care about the Pro Bowl at all. I haven't watched one thing. Couldn't care less. Give me a tank bowl. Dude, you know how fun that would be? I don't know. At least in comparison to the Pro Bowl. We would stream it. Who's going to get the 1 overall pick? We would laugh. We would have fun. I would be kind of with it. You'd take Bain, Love, or Downs. Yeah, give me 3 people. If they were there at 9, you would take them. I like Bain a lot. Round 1, edge. Round 2, running back, unless we get a free agent. Round 3, defensive back, wide receiver. Yeah, the toilet bowl. Exactly. Kicker competition for the top picks. Start the kickers on the 20-yard line, then have them move back 5 yards and shoot out until someone misses. That's kind of fun. When's the Pro Bowl? I think it's happening now. It's this week. That's what I'm saying. No, I've been seeing Pro Bowl clips on X, on Twitter today. I think they're doing it now. Yeah, it's happening now. The score was 52-52. Wait. Hold on a second. It's on right now? I don't even know where you can watch it. I went to YouTube TV to see if I could see it. Yeah, I don't even know. It's probably paywalled somewhere. Is it on NFL Network or something? Nobody's watching it. Oh, it ended? Oh, okay. Okay, well, fair enough. Make better choices, said Terry. We have to get great players. Yeah, they need, with the 9th overall pick and then 40 or wherever they're at, you've got to hit on a couple of them. What are your thoughts on trading Chris Jones for Byron Young in a second? Just Chris Jones' contract, dude, it is insane. It's not movable this year. It's just not. The dead money. I could pull it up and give you the numbers because it is unreal. You're not doing anything with him this year. It's impossible. I also just don't think they would trade Chris Jones. He's like a lifetime Chiefs guy. You know? He'll retire Chief. His dead money this year, $64 million. $64 million. Cap hit is $44 million. Base salary, $19. Now there's an out after this year, technically speaking. Dead cap, $19.5 million. And a base of 28. cap hit of 38. So yeah, you could save quite a bit of money if you move on from Chris Jones after 2026. Tough. Cole, would you bet shaving your beard on the Chiefs having more than 11 wins next season? No, because they very well could have 11 wins next season. I'm not going to doubt that at all. No way. He's still very good. Yeah, I agree. Proctologist. Yes, sir. Just don't draft Jalen Daniels from Kansas. To whichever team that drafts him, they have an injury-prone QB that sucks. Okay. Okay. I'm not laughing at you, but I'm just like, you either must be a KU fan that has pain and are wounded, or you're a K-State or MU fan that just hates KU. But I just loved reading that. If the Chiefs don't re-sign Brian Cook, I would love to have Downs at pick 9. Kind of reminds me of Eric Berry. Yeah, Catfish, if they don't, and they come into the draft with like, oh boy, don't know what their plan is at safety. There's a big weakness there. And if Caleb Downs ends up getting there, is there at 9, which he very well could be, considering he's a safety, I think you take him. I don't know. It really depends, right? Really depends. Jalen Hurts did the tush push in a flag football game. Like as a joke? I want to see that. That's hilarious. Oh, this looks kind of fun, dude. I wish it was on ESPN. Like, that's fun. Jalen Hurts scrambling like that. Scrambling, throwing some passes. You got Pickens out there, Ferguson with the catch. Like, these are the QBs that would be so good in flag football in theory. Hurts, Lamar, Jaden Daniels. Who's like slippery? Who else could it be? Who else would be a good one? Those are 3 off the top of my head. Josh Allen, I guess maybe he's built forward tough. Like a tight end. Mahomes, potentially, but you need the real like mobile, shifty dudes. An offensive tackle scored 3 times in this game. What is happening? Should we trade Rice? Maybe, I guess. He's on the last year of his rookie deal, but his trade value is going to be pretty low. Missed a year and a half. Some of the off-the-field stuff. I don't know. I think you could, but what are you going to get out of him? It might be more valuable to just let him play on the last year of his deal this year and contribute on the field than it would be to trade him away. Just my opinion. But I think when it comes to trades and potential this or that, I remember saying there's no way the Chiefs are ever trading Tyreek Hill away, and they did. So I think if you're not Chris Jones or Patrick Mahomes, I think anything's probably possible. Josh Simmons, no. So you could go down the list and be like, yeah, this player is most likely not getting traded, but never say never. Never say never about it. Zach said get rid of Rice. Well, he's on the last year of his deal, and I don't know that he'll be around after. It's tough to know. Yeah, it's like, what value does Rice have? Now, yeah, I don't want to go down the speculative rabbit hole with his allegations and stuff, because we just don't know. Because here's the thing, with that in the air around, why would a team want to trade for him if they're like, well, he could maybe get suspended, depending on how that plays out. He's already on probation and got suspended last year too. I think teams would not, I think they would be a little afraid. Now, if all that situation gets resolved, right, and comes out, the NFL's like, hey, we did our investigation and it's all good, whatever, right? Well, then a team might be like, well, shoot, I like Rice. We could trade for him, get him a babysitter. It's like, let him not leave his compound and extend him to a contract. Okay. I guess I could see it. I guess. Rice could also find himself getting an extension, like a Tyreek Hill extension. You guys remember Tyreek's, was it his first extension? I think it was a pretty like team-friendly deal. Now, I'm not saying the Chiefs do it. I have no idea who's going to actually end up doing what with that situation, but the stock for Rice, all that to say, is down. His stock is down. Yeah, not on a good path. Yeah, man. Well, I am going to end it on that. I don't like to end on a negative note there, but I did enjoy the stream with you guys. I think we processed through a lot of things, and it was kind of fun and therapeutic for me to get on and hang out with you guys. Got some bad news before I got on the stream, but it was just a great time to talk some Chiefs and kind of not think about things for a couple of hours. It's always a great time, and I appreciate y'all. I'm going to be on for the Super Bowl, so we got a video coming out tomorrow, podcast with Seth on Thursday, another video Friday. We've got a lot of content coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much for the super chats, the dono bombs, the comments, the mods holding it down. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go.